An absolute nuclear-level corporate execution just hit the entertainment world, and the entire hip-hop ecosystem is currently standing in total paralyzed shock. We thought individual rap beefs were insane. But what 50 Cent and Drake just pulled off as a united front has officially set the entire global music industry on fire. Capitalizing on Rick Ross's catastrophic commercial collapse, where his 12th studio album, Set in Stone, moved a dismal 296 pure copies while his world tour arena sat over 80% empty. 50 Cent and Drake have officially joined forces to launch an aggressive systematic campaign to publicly dismantle and mock Rick Ross' entire career. We are talking about coordinated social media raids, joint live radio broadcasts, and viral stream takeovers where both megastars displayed Ross' empty venue seating charts while popping $3,000 champagne bottles. But Rick Ross didn't stay quiet. He launched an enraged late-night counterattack, accusing the duo of using automated bot farms and algorithmic sabotage to destroy his sales. Stay right where you are, because what 50 Cent and Drake leaked at the 7-minute mark changes everything forever. To fully comprehend the unprecedented history-making magnitude of this joint assault, you have to look at how two of Rick Ross' most formidable rivals decided to merge their massive empires for a single destructive purpose. This isn't just basic internet trolling. This is the strategic union of 50 Cent's ruthless street auditing warfare and Drake's dominant global streaming power. For nearly 2 decades, Curtis, 50 Cent, Jackson, and William Leonard Roberts II, the man globally known as Rick Ross, have been locked in hip-hop's most personal venomous feud. Ever since 50 exposed Ross' past employment as a correctional officer in 2008, 50 has made it his life's mission to dismantle Ross' biggest boss persona. 50 built a media empire through knit film and television and used every opportunity to mock Ross' business deals, car shows, and personal life. Meanwhile, Drake and Rick Ross shared a completely different history. For over 10 years, Drake and Ross were an iconic hit-making duo, creating chart-topping anthems like Aston Martin Music, Lord Knows, and Money in the Grave. They called each other brothers and flexed wealth together. However, that fragile alliance completely shattered during the 2024 rap wars when Ross turned on Drake, dropping the diss track, Champagne Moments, and endlessly trolling Drake online with the BBL Drizzy nickname. Drake, known for his long-term memory, quietly waited for the exact moment when Ross' commercial shield would break. That moment arrived when official sales data dropped for Rick Ross' 12th studio album, Set in Stone, alongside his world tour. The project suffered a horrific commercial collapse, tracking at an appalling 2,096 pure sales in its first week. To make matters worse, venue seating maps for Ross' global tour showed 10,000-seat arenas sitting almost completely empty, forcing promoters to offer desperate ticket discounts just to avoid performing in front of empty chairs. 50 Cent was the first to pounce, ruthlessly roasting Ross' low sales online. But instead of letting Drake fight his own separate battles, 50 Cent reached out behind closed doors. The two megastars realized that combining 50's media trolling engine with Drake's 140 million digital followers would create an unstoppable force. The alliance was forged. 50 Cent and Drake didn't just want to laugh at Ross' numbers. They set out to systematically ensure that the biggest boss myth was permanently erased from pop culture memory. The joint campaign officially detonated at 1:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It didn't start with subtle posts. It launched via a synchronized dual-stream broadcast that paralyzed social media algorithms across the globe. Drake went live from his luxury mansion in Toronto while 50 Cent tuned in live from his executive office in New York. Over 800,000 concurrent viewers flooded the stream within seconds as both icons appeared on a split-screen layout holding matching glasses of luxury champagne. In the background of both streams, massive screens displayed live interactive Ticketmaster seating maps of Rick Ross' upcoming concert dates showing oceans of blue unsold seats. "Look at this ghost town." Drizzy 50 Cent roared, laughing hysterically into his microphone. "Mr. Biggest Boss can't even sell out a local high school gym. 2,000 copies sold worldwide. I sell more t-shirts in my sleep." Drake leaned into the camera, taking a sip from his glass with a cold, victorious smile. "I told him, Fifth, you can't call me BBL Drizzy for 6 months and then expect the world to buy 2,000 CDs. The curtain came down and everybody saw the arenas were empty. RIP to the Maybach myth." The live comment section went into absolute uncontrollable chaos. Millions of fire and laughing emojis flooded the screen as the clip was ripped and uploaded to X, TikTok, and Instagram, racking up over 45 million views in under 30 minutes. To make the humiliation complete, 50 Cent and Drake dropped a joint social media post featuring a photoshopped image of Rick Ross standing on an empty stage surrounded by crickets, captioned with brutal precision, Joint campaign active 20,000 sales isn't a release, Ricky. That's a private family order. Grinning, squinting face, the Maybach empire is officially closed for business. The optics were completely fatal. For 15 years, Ross had shielded himself behind an illusion of infinite wealth. But 50 Cent and Drake had joined hands to turn his real-world commercial failure into a global comedy spectacle. Inside Rick Ross' private compound at the Promised Land in Georgia, total unadulterated pandemonium broke out. Leaked reports from staff members indicated that Ross was watching the joint broadcast on his home theater screen. When he saw 50 Cent and Drake popping champagne together to mock his 2,000 sales, Ross reportedly flew into a blind rage, smashing a glass table and screaming at his management team to get his legal and public relations teams on an emergency call. Ross was trapped in an absolute nightmare. Fighting 50C was hard enough, but fighting 50C and Drake at the exact same time was professional checkmate. Driven by pure unadulterated fury, Rick Ross launched an emergency Instagram live stream at 3:30 a.m. directly from his study, wearing a silk robe, smoking a cigar, and looking into the camera lens with bloodshot and raged eyes. 50 Cent and Drake. Y'all two corporate puppets teaming up because neither of y'all can touch me individually. Ross roared into the phone, his voice shaking with intense rage. You sitting over there popping champagne talking about 2,000 sales. Let's tell the world the truth about how y'all used automated bot farms, shadow banning, and algorithmic sabotage to block my streams behind closed doors. Ross made a jaw-dropping, explosive allegation. He claimed that 50 Cent and Drake had secretly funded a high-tech digital sabotage firm to flood ticket servers with fake hold orders and suppress his album from major streaming playlists. Y'all spent millions to sabotage my release. Ross screamed, you scared of real independent music. I built Maybach music with my own hands. I own my land. I own my catalog. You can't ban a real boss. It was a furious attempt to reframe his commercial flop as a victim of a corporate conspiracy. But just as Ross finished his speech, an unexpected catastrophic twist dropped that turned his defense into an absolute disaster. A prominent music industry news outlet published a verified leaked internal email originating from inside Rick Ross's own distribution company. The leaked email sent 3 weeks before the album release showed Ross' executive team admitting in plain text that pre-orders were tracking so low that the label was considering pulling all promotional funds because there is zero organic consumer interest in this project. The revelation hit the internet like a freight train. Ross was live on stream blaming 50 Cent and Drake's bot farms, while his own label's internal emails proved everyone inside Maybach Music already knew the album was going to flop weeks before it dropped. The live chat erupted into total merciless mockery as viewers began spamming clown emojis. Ross looked at the comments, realized his own label's email had leaked live on air, froze in horror, and abruptly ended the live stream. The abrupt end of Rick Ross's live stream didn't stop the catastrophe. It triggered a global digital earthquake. News outlets, financial blogs, and hip-hop reaction channels went into complete overdrive. The narrative that 50 Cent and Drake had successfully joined forces to crush Rick Ross became the lead story across every major media platform. The hashtags 50 and reunited, Ross career collapse, and Maybach were trending at the top of every social media network worldwide. Then came the second massive unexpected twist that escalated this joint campaign from an internet roast into a high-stakes corporate legal battle. At 11:30 a.m., an investigative entertainment reporter published a bombshell report revealing that 50 Cent and Drake's legal teams had officially filed a joint cease and desist demand and catalog clearance audit against Rick Ross and Maybach Music Group. The legal filing contained a mind-blowing unprecedented revelation that sent shock waves through the entire music business. According to the documents, Drake and 50 Cent are officially revoking Rick Ross' authorization to perform, stream, or profit from any of their past collaborative tracks or sample materials on his current world tour or future releases. Read that again. They didn't just mock his empty tour. They officially legally blocked Rick Ross from performing their hits again. The legal demand explicitly stated that because Ross had breached master licensing and non-disparagement agreements by making false sabotage claims, OVO and Gannett were exercising their contractual rights to freeze all performance clearance licenses across global venue networks. If Rick Ross steps onto a stage anywhere in the world and tries to perform songs like Aston Martin music or use Get sample clearances, venue promoters will face immediate multi-million-dollar copyright lawsuits. The sheer diabolical genius of the move left the entire industry speechless. 50 Cent and Drake had effectively stripped Rick Ross of the most popular crowd-pleasing songs in his entire performance catalog. 50 Cent and Drake immediately capitalized on the legal strike, posting a short video of themselves sitting together in executive conference room, signing the legal notice and laughing into the camera. 50 Cent captioned the video, "You can't perform our hits to fill your empty seats anymore, Ricky. Perform those 2000 album sales instead." Grinning, squinting face, the internet completely lost its mind. The realization that Rick Ross was now legally barred from performing the biggest songs of his career turned the joint campaign into the most humiliating corporate execution in hip-hop history. Promoters who had booked Ross for upcoming festival appearances began panicking, calling his management team demanding to know if he could legally deliver his promised set list. Inside Ross' camp, absolute total breakdown occurred. Sources inside Maybach Music revealed that two major festival organizers in Europe immediately placed Ross' upcoming headlining slots on administrative hold, citing the legal risk of venue copyright lawsuits from 50 Cent and Drake's legal teams. Ross was facing complete professional checkmate. His album had flopped. His tour was empty. His own label had admitted there was no demand. And now 50 Cent and Drake had legally stripped him of his biggest records. Driven to the absolute edge of desperation, Rick Ross' legal team launched a frantic counteroffensive, issuing a public statement claiming that the joint cease and desist was an illegal bad faith attempt to restrain trade and destroy an independent artist's tour, announcing an emergency federal injunction filing. But just as the public was waiting to see if a judge would step in, 50 Cent and Drake's legal teams dropped a single terrifying response. "We welcome the court hearing because formal discovery will require Rick Ross to present his complete unedited tour ticket receipts, streaming accounting, and corporate debt disclosures under federal court oath." The threat was lethal. If Ross pursued the injunction, he would be legally forced to lay bare his exact embarrassing financial data in public federal court records. The entire global entertainment landscape erupted into absolute unprecedented madness as the joint campaign reached a fever pitch. The culture was fiercely divided, creating one of the most aggressive online debates in music history. On one side, supporters of 50 Cent and Drake declared a total decisive victory. Fans flooded comment sections across every platform, hailing the duo as a cold-blooded strategic alliance that delivered the ultimate payback for Ross' past actions. 50 Cent and Drake joining forces is like Thanos getting the final. Infinity Stone, one viral tweet with over 250,000 likes read, "You can't Drake for 6 months and fight 50 Cent for 15 years without expecting them to team up and finish your career when you sell 2,000 copies." On the opposing side, supporters of Rick Ross and hip-hop purists fought back aggressively, accusing 50 Cent and Drake of using corporate monopoly power and legal bullying to destroy an authentic hip-hop pioneer. Two multi-millionaires teaming up to blacklist an independent artist and stop him from performing collaborative songs is corny and toxic for the culture. An influential music blogger argued 50 and Drake are acting like corporate board executives, not rappers. Major music executives and festival promoters held emergency private calls to discuss the massive legal precedent set by the joint performance ban. Industry insiders admitted off the record that the combined pressure from 50 Cent and Drake had rendered Rick Ross commercially radioactive, with event organizers terrified to book him. Podcast hosts, legal analysts, and reaction channels dedicated multi-hour live streams to dissecting the fallout, pointing out that when an artist loses both streaming support and live touring revenue simultaneously, their entire corporate empire faces immediate structural collapse. Meanwhile, memes mocking Ross' situation reached astronomical viral numbers, with millions of users creating skits depicting Ross trying to perform in front of empty chairs while 50 Cent and Drake watch from a VIP booth. The public was reaching an absolute boiling point, hanging on every notification, waiting to see if Rick Ross could somehow find a legal loophole to save his world tour and rebuild his Maybach empire. Just when the world believed this joint campaign had reached its absolute legal standstill, a brand new, jaw-dropping revelation dropped that completely flipped the entire story into dangerous, unprecedented territory. At 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, an official corporate filing surfaced from the state of Florida, revealing that an undisclosed, newly formed commercial entity had just submitted a formal high-bid buyout offer to acquire the entire Maybach Music Group trademark, master catalog rights, and distribution liabilities. The filing showed that this anonymous investment group had already acquired a controlling percentage of Maybach Music's underlying debt obligations from various financial lenders, positioning them to take total corporate control of Ross' label if he defaults on his upcoming financial obligations, and who is listed as the co-managing directors of that investment group. High-powered corporate attorneys representing Gannett Film and Television and OVO Sound jointly. Read that again. 50 Cent and Drake aren't just mocking Rick Ross. They have officially joined forces TTO by and on the Maybach Music Group brand itself. If the buyout goes through, 50 Cent and Drake will officially become the joint legal owners of the name Maybach Music, the master recordings and the catalog rights to Rick Ross' career. The realization hit the culture like an atomic bomb. 50 Cent and Drake are on the literal verge of owning the very empire that Rick Ross spent 20 years building. Sources close to Rick Ross report that upon learning of the joint trademark buyout filing, Ross went completely silent, ordered his security team to lock down his Star Island estate, and cancelled all remaining media appearances. As the news swept across the internet, 50 Cent and Drake posted a final terrifying 6-second video on their Instagram stories simultaneously. They were sitting side by side in a dark, luxurious boardroom, holding a leather-bound folder labeled Maybach Music Group Joint Acquisition, smiling with cold, victorious gazes. Neither of them said a single word. They simply tapped the folder together, raised their glasses to the camera, and let the screen fade to total black. This is no longer a rap feud. This is a total historic corporate execution. Will Rick Ross find a way to block the buyout before 50 Cent and Drake take legal ownership of Maybach Music? Or have the two mega stars officially bought out the biggest boss forever? Stay locked in because part 2 of this historic war is dropping next and the music world will never be the same. We are watching absolute history unfold right in front of our eyes, and this joint campaign between 50 Cent, Drake and Rick Ross has officially reached a terrifying historic peak. Now I want to hear directly from you. Do you think 50 Cent and Drake were completely justified in joining forces to mock Rick Ross' career collapse and legally ban him from performing their hits? Or did they go way too far by attempting to buy out the entire Maybach Music catalog? Is Rick Ross's biggest boss persona officially dead? Or can he somehow find a way to bounce back from this total commercial nightmare? Drop your raw, unfiltered thoughts in the comments section right now. I am going to be down in the comments replying to the best responses over the next couple of hours. So, let's get the debate going. If you want to stay ahead of the curve and get instant breaking news alerts the exact second Ross legal team responds or 50 Cent and Drake execute the catalog buyout, you need to take action right now. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and turn on all notification bells so you never miss a single second of this escalating war. We have emergency sources tracking every legal filing in Miami, Toronto, and New York. And our next emergency breakdown video is dropping very soon. Don't get left behind. Subscribe right now.